them up there.
Awesome. Awesome. Good. We got to get Peanut at the end of the broadcast again because get him in. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick. And well, I guess it's best if I send you guys a link, which will be we have here the voice. So I'm gonna send you guys this link right here. Mind the link. And I'm gonna send it to you on, so the purpose is so you open it on mobile, on your mobile device. So I'm gonna send it to you on
Facebook.
Facebook. Okay, great. Facebook. Thomas, I don't have your Facebook, so I'm gonna rely on Perry to send it to you all unless you can give me your Facebook or any other link where I can send it to you and you can open it on your mobile device. Because if I send it on Zoom.
Yeah, you can just send it on Zoom and I'll get it.
Yeah, and I just sent a friend request, so either way, Zoom or Facebook.
So I don't need to send it to you, Thomas. You'll get it.
Start typing and having fun.
Yeah, Thomas just sent me a friend request. Thank you, Thomas.
Danny, were you doing that in Spanish with, you said you were kind of testing it out with some people. Was it in Spanish or is my platform just showing it in Spanish for some reason?
Give me 1 second, sorry. Send me the link. What is it showing you in Spanish? I'm sorry.
I was looking at the inbox to see all the messages so far, and a lot of it was in Spanish.
Yeah. So Pedro is my other tech assistant here, and him and I, we were doing a class yesterday where we were tag teaming. There you go. Yeah, we were tag teaming in English and Spanish, showing the community what we were up to. And being that AI understands prompts in different languages, we have some prompts in English for the most part, and there's other prompts that are in Spanish, but the bot recognizes all languages the same. So that's probably why you saw something here on the inbox. Let's see, you probably saw some stuff in Spanish from last night.
Danny, can you copy and paste that link into the Zoom chat, please?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, and
Yep.
we've got a problem with the voice of Peanut. Peanut is actually a little boy, not a girl.
So all of these details, I will
know, and
take note of that.
Yeah, and I mean he's part Chihuahua, so could we have him have a little bit of a Spanish accent, a Mexican accent? Is that possible? I'm just throwing it out.
Accent.
What's wrong, Mindy?
So here's an idea that I had, and I guess I would have to ask for your permission first, Perry.
Okay.
What if we clone your voice and the bot speaks with your voice?
Oh God, I don't know.
I almost introduced that surprise here today, but I didn't want to do so without your consent.
I'm open to it. I mean, Thomas, Mindy, what do you think? Of course, nobody likes to hear their own voice, but
I mean, I think that would be really cool because you've been the, literal and figurative voice of MDMC since you founded it. So I think having that thread follow through would be really cool.
Yeah. And I would also.
All right, you just tell me what I'm going to need to do so you can capture. I guess I'm going to need to say certain words and all sorts of stuff for you, so the software brings it in.
So one of the things that we do, so we did, for the fun of it, we did in the past, we did Snoop Dogg, we did Donald Trump, we did some of these voices that people recognize, and the way we do it is we gather just a few YouTube videos where your voice may be
Okay, got it.
clear, and then we just feed that into one of the softwares that we use to replicate that.
Yeah, or there's several podcasts out there with me too.
Yes, there are a ton of videos
Okay.
I saw with you in it since.
Okay, no, that's cool. And then you can hype that up as something, you can do as well, right? You take
Yeah, for
voice
sure.
and yeah. All right.
We could do that.
Okay.
So take that link that I sent you. That is the welcome flow, quote unquote. And if you continue the conversation, whether it's on voice messaging or on text, you'll be able to probably find that I added some history to the MDMC chatbot. So where, for instance, I was thrilled to learn that since 2013, when you had an idea and your colleagues and your peers, they got together, and now it became such a big conference in 2019 where we had the most attendees, the most speakers. I gathered some of that history and put it in the knowledge base. So if you care to just take the bot for a spin and say, ask it questions, maybe if there's something that you may or may not agree with for the next couple of days as you just browse through the functionality, let me know. Definitely, there's a few things that I wasn't aware of, but I was able to gather things like the mission of the conference, the involvement by the university and the faculty, um an award that one of these startups won in 2017, I think it was. So if you can help me with some of the testing or accuracy of the chatbot for the next few days, please definitely let me know if there's anything I should add or if there's something that we may not have just yet. One thing that sticks out is the presenters for this year, right? As far as I understand, we don't have that
Correct.
list
Not
yet.
really finished yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
so I'm
yet.
glad that you brought that up because that was that was going to be my next question, right? So I guess I have two questions at this point. I would love to help with the testing and pushing it, but do you have a list of um, like a data table of what's already in there, right? Because then I know what specific questions that I can ask to try and push it. And then also I'm planning to push the agenda out with like information to about the sessions, which will link to profiles about the speakers, which would have information about the speakers. So is the data going to flow into the AI bot, and does it update live? Because let's say things change, is it something that you have to manually push updates to, or is it something that live updates as it goes?
Well, good questions, Mindy. So let me ask you one question regarding that. When there's an update or right, normally how does that get communicated? Through the website, through an email blast, or typically how do you guys do that?
Yeah, so like let's say with an example would be with the agenda that we're pushing out with all of the sessions. So we have some speakers that still may update their title or the description or their bio, right? So all of that will be updated on the website. We're not going to push out individual update communications to attendees.
Got it. So,
Yeah, so let's say for instance, like if I'm speaking and I change my session title, right? And then somebody goes to the chat bot and says, hey, what is the name of the session that Mindy is speaking on? Like, I want to make sure that that update pushes through. I mean, understandably, if there's some sort of delay with the movement of information, that's okay. But if it's something that you manually have to like push a button and say, hey, update all of these things in this data table, then that's something I would like to know about.
Well, yes. So one of the things that I spoke with Thomas about last time we met was that, right? So when we release the name of the speakers, we're probably going to also have access to their title of their presentation, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. So I do have access to that share folder. Maybe when that gets updated, I'll go ahead and feed that information to the bot, right? So names of the speakers as they roll out with their corresponding presentation title, right? Maybe a bio on the speakers. I mean, all of this information will be on the website once it becomes official. Am I correct in assuming that?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, right. Now, if for some reason a presenter cancels or there's a change in the topic,
Right.
that change also takes place inside of the website, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, good. So the bot, the AI relies on two things, right? The knowledge base primarily, and secondarily, the websites, right? So it'll crawl the
Okay.
internet to see if there's any updates, but I'll make sure to do it inside of the knowledge base as promptly as possible as these updates come about.
Okay, so you have an API to scrape the website to gather the information and gather updates and push it to the chatbot?
Well, it's not an API per se, but it's
Okay.
so in the back end of this we're using ChatGPT. So basically that is really what's crawling your website.
Okay, got it.
Yes. So, and to answer your question, Mindy, after this Zoom, let me see, where is this? See, after this Zoom, I'm gonna gather those pieces of I want to say pieces of data, but the categories of the data that we collected this past few weeks, because what happens is what happens is because we have such a large space here where we can prompt the bot. Literally, this 48,000 characters is equivalent to about 37 pages of a book. Those are the instructions, right? I've only used about 14,000 characters, which is a fraction of what we can fit in here in just this section, right? So basically, what I've been doing day in and day out as I remember things or I get an idea, or maybe I'll scratch another one. What I've done here is I've added sporadically certain things, and they might not be in order, right? So I have history about the conference. Maybe I'll have some transcripts of some YouTube videos that will provide the bot with context, right?
Right.
Etc. So what I'm going to do here to organize my prompt here, my master prompt, is I'm going to organize it in the framework that we have been applying as a methodology to give the bot an identity, right? A who, what, when, where, and those sort of things, right? So yes, so I prompted it here in Spanish. So I don't want to provide to you this list or this organized prompt in both languages, but what I'll do is I'll shoot over a more organized document where you can see what categories of data we've fed, and perhaps you can say, well, we haven't fed it any other, for instance, for lack of better words, who were the presenters in last year and what were their titles, right? I don't know if that's relevant to this audience or not, but if need be, we can feed it infinite amounts of data.
Well,
Yeah.
but just asking if somebody does, and again, I don't think it's necessary that that be fed the 2019 speakers. But if somebody does ask something that it doesn't have, can we have sent prompts that come back and say, I'm sorry, I don't have access to that data, but I can certainly connect you with one of the the executives in charge of the conference who could assist if necessary or something.
Sure thing, yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because I think the most important is kind of what's going on now. What are the topics covered? What about hotels, flights, the time? When should I get there? All of that sort of stuff. Yeah, when did the conference first start? Definitely some history. Who do I talk to about becoming a sponsor? All of those sort of. I'm just throwing that out there, which you probably already have covered, Danny.
You mentioned a couple of things that I hadn't covered. So hotels, is the MDMC partnering with some venues or hotels in the
Yeah,
area?
and that should be all on the website, right, Thomas? So it should be data you could easily capture, Danny, right on the website.
Yeah. So Danny, would it be, because Thomas and I kind of tag team updating stuff on the website. So it's under about, and then there's the drop down menu for travel and hotels.
Okay,
and I just put that up there this week. So if it would be helpful to you, I can loop you in on emails when new things happen, like when the agenda goes up or when large amounts of information go up. Because for instance, something that we're also trying to work on is creating a resource center, and asking for like books that speakers are going to be that speakers have written or recommend, and that's things that I think would be useful in the bot as well. So I can send you an email when that goes up on the website. Is that helpful?
That is very, very helpful. Yes, that'll keep me up to date, and I'll get the system to crawl whatever tab that we have here. So I will send you a reminder regarding that. So let me see if there's anything new that I've seen here. Now that travel scholarship winners.
Yeah, I think something that might be interesting with the bot. We hope nobody asks this question, but there's also questions about refund policies. So that's updated on the FAQ and the terms and conditions.
Okay. Did you say we hope that nobody asks?
Yes, we hope nobody asks for refunds, but if they do.
Oh, okay. Okay. I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peanut should actually question it. Why in the world would you possibly want a refund?
Yeah, and then send a picture of a sad peanut.
So, kind of on that same subject, Danny, it kind of seemed to coax me to want to like buy a ticket and check out, and so we probably need to turn off the e-commerce and just have it give them a link to the place on the website where we do purchase a ticket.
Yes. So a couple of things regarding that. So let me see where the tickets at. I saw the tickets pricing. So 20% is for the super early bird, which is going to end in a couple of days.
Right.
Okay, great. So one of the primary objectives that you guys mentioned was to sell more tickets, right? Now, as I understand, the structure that you guys have for the conference, some dynamics within the conference, and the ticket purchase, that is all within Drifta, right?
That's right.
Now we didn't want to disturb that because maybe it was that's what you guys were used to. We probably didn't have enough time to to pivot and introduce a different method, but so that stayed intact. One of the things that I would love to do is to be able to track and measure how many tickets were purchased because of the interaction with the bot, right? I think that if we could quantify that, right, and then perhaps, have something to beat or something to something to shoot for. Maybe for next year we sold X amount of tickets, next year we're gonna sell more, or that sort of thing. I love to keep track of clicks, of conversions, etc. So in this case, a ticket purchase, I consider that a conversion. And if we could track if some conversions came from the bot and some others didn't, maybe that could be a good report to have at the end of the conference.
Is that possible on Drifta, Mindy? Do you know?
Yeah, so what I was going to ask is if ChatGPT has a tracking pixel the same way that social media does, right? Because that's how we also keep track of conversions from ads on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And so if you can generate that tracking pixel for me, and the way that it works is there's a section for JavaScript on Drifta where I can drop it in to track those conversions. So I can do that if you can generate the pixel for me and the code for me.
Okay, yes, either that, I'm not sure if they have a tracking pixel, but what I was thinking was UTM parameters. So, that's another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
was
can.
thinking about that. If that pixel element doesn't exist, it's a good question. Then we'll have to use UTMs.
Mhm.
But yes, and you mentioned something that I was going to ask as well. The Drifta page, you just mentioned you have access to add some JavaScript there. Can we add some JavaScript to the actual MDMC page, which is best marketing conference .com?
What what JavaScript would you like to add? So Drifta is great in terms of a platform that's all inclusive, that has the ability to have a website, it's a CMS, and management of the conference itself with speakers and attendees. But it does have some limitations in terms of the ability to access some of the coding on the back end. So when you say JavaScript, what kind of scripts are you thinking?
Well, we wanted to add the chat widget right here on the lower right hand corner, just like where you see a lot of these chat bots.
Sure.
So, as a point of entry where people can, ask questions or engage with our Peanut AI.
Sure.
So yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we can take this offline if you want to email me the script, and then we can play around with it. I can install it onto the site, and then we can test it and see how it goes. Because there is a section for entering the JavaScript again, but it's pretty rudimentary. So we'll see what limitations we have. But I would assume that it has the ability to do that, because that's really what we want, right? We want the chatbot living on the site as well as an entry point.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So let me see if I can do this real quick. This is a bot simulator. So, well,
And just as another note, while you're doing that, Danny, should we, like I was rattling off a bunch of questions I thought Peanut should be able to answer. Should I just like do a brain dump and us just make sure we got certain, Thomas may come back and say, oh, we don't need Peanut to worry about answering that. But would that be worthwhile for me to do a brain dump, or you add to it, Thomas, or you, Mindy, just to make sure we think we got the main things covered that attendee would answer and what we don't really need Peanut to worry about?
Yeah, I think we can just start a sheet
Okay.
within the three of us, and then maybe you know.
So
in case-
I'll start a Google sheet.
Okay, yeah. And then we'll just dump
And
everything in over the
I'll do
next.
my dump. I won't
Mhm.
pass it to Danny. I'll let you guys tweak it and then pass it to Danny because you
Yeah.
may not agree with some of my stuff, and I'll let you guys have the final say on it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Unless Thomas, do we already have something like that going?
No, not yet.
Okay. And I'll do that today as soon as we're off the phone call here.
Quick question. What do you mean by a brain dump?
Basically, it's like a checklist where what I'm going to assume is that it's already information you have, but if there's certain pieces of information like that have not been published on the website, for instance, that is held in Perry and Thomas's head, we can at least also prepare you and let you know that, oh, these things are important. If they're not already on the bot, you'll be receiving information to add it to the bot.
Yeah, kind of what I did earlier, Danny. What hotels are available? What airport do I fly into? What time should I arrive on the first day? Is lunch provided with the workshops? You know, it's just all the stuff people might. A lot of questions, right, Thomas?
I literally just asked that question to the bot as you said that. So.
Was it
Oh, you
accurate?
did? Did it have the answer?
Not the exact answer, but it does say that lunch and breaks are on your own, but there are usually food options nearby. So
Oh, that's cool. That
it's in
it's
there.
so. Where is it getting that data? Off the website?
Yeah, I mean it's just like a
Oh,
chat.
cool.
You use a
Okay.
chat and just
Okay, cool. All right.
It's the AI magic.
So how do I ask the bot these questions?
just type the bot. It's at the bottom. It's kind of hard to see on a browser, so it's just like a gray line for the text at the bottom of the page. So you clicked on the link, and then there's just a little audio thing that's the welcome, and then there's a text box at the bottom of the screen.
Really, on that link he sent?
Yes.
Yeah, and
all
I
I had was
say
just I don't have any line at the bottom. I just have like an audio file.
So right next to it, just try to click next to it. Maybe it's blank or showing up as too white. I don't know if you got.
Did you use a mobile device, Perry, or a desktop?
No, I'm just on my.
Oh, I didn't try it on phone.
Yeah, I mean, I've clicked on your link 3 times, so I got 3 audio files. That was the girl voice.
Right. So in the way at the bottom, there, you're going to see something like this. If you look at my screen here, if you aren't right.
Oh, that's a part of it. Oh, okay. I thought okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I
So
thought
that's
that,
basically your
okay. So that's where I could ask a question.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I asked it a voice question and it responded to me with a voice, which is also pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Danny, since Perry's jumping on now, is there a way that we can tag his user in the inbox as like he's the Peanut's owner, so that whatever he tells Peanut, or that it will think of Perry as like the source of information? Can we add Perry as a source that way?
Can you repeat that, Thomas? I couldn't get the middle of that question.
So can we add Perry's chat with the bot as a source, as a flow in for information, right? So in the inbox, if we find Perry as guest 3710, is there any way to feed in then that the bot knows that Perry is like, I don't know, an admin, right? Or super user, that he can help define the bot through that? Does that make sense?
Yes. So let me kind of like clear something. So when you looked at the inbox and it said guest, right? And then you know, some weird number, that is the label that the bot gives to that user temporarily, right? One of the things obviously that we want the bot to do before trying to sell a ticket is gather a list of people, right? So first name, last name, email address, and phone number are the 4 data points that we are gathering from a person who asks 2 or more questions regarding the event, right? So when a person shows intent, the AI will recognize that and start asking, well, did you get your ticket yet? If not, then let's get you the ticket, right? Let's get you some prices. What is your name, by the way, right? That sort of thing. So, so is there where we're going to gather lists of people who are interested, maybe another list of people who just purchased the ticket, and maybe we can retarget those who didn't pull the trigger, right before the conference, or through SMS or through email, etc. And so that is actually what comes before the sale, right? So gathering a list of names will be something that the bot is already trained to do. However, in the inbox, you saw guest and guest because of yesterday's exercise. So yes, we could, for instance, program the bot so if there's any one of us who is interacting with it, right, it'll recognize that it's one of its creators, right, one of its I guess humans behind the AI.
So, Danny, I think what Thomas is trying to get at is, you know how when you have a chatbot and you're chatting, let's say for a customer service question, right? And then eventually you get to the point where you're like, I need to speak to a human. The chatbot doesn't have the answer anymore. So I think what Thomas is saying is like, is there a point where they can escalate it to talk to a real human, and that real human is Perry? So then it connects that existing conversation that it's already been having with the bot, and then it shoots it to Perry so that he can actually answer the question that the bot is unable to. Is that right, Thomas?
No, that's definitely more advanced, but no, I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
saying that per se. Just that, like what he just explained. So Perry, like I just text you, but if you can say your name in the chat, because then I can rename you here on the dashboard, and then, yeah, no, I just kind of want to see what happens when you do that as well. But sounds like the answer is yes, so that's fine. So Perry, you can talk to the chat like your peanuts. So real quick, I don't know if I like how it's spelled. I'd rather spell
Yeah.
it like the word peanut. Is that fine?
Yeah, I
Sure,
think we
sure.
should just go with peanut the way it's spelled. I was
Yeah,
trying to be edgy, but it doesn't look right.
no problem. And I think I got that spelling from Perry's post, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think I did P dot
Yeah.
nut, I think.
Okay.
I like
Yeah, I mean, we were playing around with trying to be creative.
whatever. I'll leave those details to you guys. But back to the comment Mindy was suggesting, we all at times get frustrated with these chatbots, and we do type in, I need to speak to a human.
Sure.
So what is going to happen when somebody says, I need to speak to a human? Where
Right. So
where is that going to go?
great question. So we will assign someone, right, or a few people, right? In this case, as Mindy suggested, we'll assign you, right? So that when someone asks, hey, I want to talk to somebody, give me the operator, right? Then that person will be notified via email or text message.
Okay, that's gonna be tough though, right, guys, or not? Is that gonna work, Thomas and Mindy? I mean, I might be teaching a class, you might be off with a client, and you might be dealing with your kids, Thomas.
Yeah, I think this
None
is
of us can get
something.
back for like an hour, maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, we can have it respond to that. Say average response time is going to be 1 to 3 hours or something like that. I don't know. That's fine.
Yeah, but then aren't we going to need like their mobile number so we can text them back, because they're not going to keep the chat open?
Yeah.
Or
Well, that's
they're not going to know when we're responding back unless they jump back to the website.
Yeah, that's
So
why Danny was saying
yeah.
if you keep talking to it, it requests your phone, your name and your email and your
Yeah,
phone
so
number.
I mean,
So
I
like,
think it could say, can I have your best contact information, email or mobile? And we will have somebody get back to you. We apologize. I'll have somebody get back to you within the next few hours or something. Maybe
yeah, I think
just have,
there are probably multiple ways to do it, right? Because like either we cannot do that because again, Thomas, you're right. That is super advanced. And if somebody's chatting with this bot at 2 a.m., like I am not going to respond to it. So, but
and I don't
know,
even know if I want to respond to it, even at 2 in the afternoon.
No, but maybe what we could do really is just like the option be, okay, if we can't answer your question, please, we will email you back at a certain time. Like Thomas was saying, like we'll respond by email in 48 hours or whatever it is. And then on the day of, let's say on the day of the actual conference event, if we can't answer, if the bot can't answer the questions, Danny, can we say, go to this area? And that's where we have like volunteers or the check-in table or whatever it is to actually handle it.
Yeah, that's a good point. On day of, I think we could probably have a couple of students there, and we could, because I think we're going to need to answer it like immediately on day of. But I think up to it's, I apologize, nobody's available to jump on live at the moment. Please give us your mobile number or email. We will text or email you back and work with you on resolution of your question or something. That's just my 2 cents. But I do think, Mindy, on day of, we'll just have a couple of students manned to take care of Peanut's questions, I guess.
Well, actually, I think on day of, we'll just send them to Peanut, right? Because we're going to try and have a Peanut station at the exhibitor thing. Is that still something we're planning, Thomas?
Yes, so I was.
Oh, I didn't know Peanut. Is Peanut going to be working? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, he's in a union, so I'm just.
Well, Peanut the bot is going to be working. Peanut the doggo, I think.
Well, we'll have him there though. We'll keep him there. So okay.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet, but yeah, something.
It's going to be like a help desk, right, Thomas, like we used to do.
Yeah.
But you'll call it the Peanuts help desk, and we could have Peanut hanging out there. So yeah.
And part of it will be obviously like you'll probably walk up, it might be like a 40 or 50-inch touch screen, and you can talk to it by pressing, it's just like this and interacting, but then we can also have other video overlay with it, and then having Peanut there, or whatever else you might think of. So
there's a really easy way that people can interact with the bot or trigger the bot, and that is QR codes, right? It's when we take that conversation offline to a mobile friendly smart conversation where maybe some of the team that's answering questions over and over and over again can leverage, right? Maybe with some posters at the conference or on the program printouts, if you're going to have anything like that, a QR code where people can just quickly point their camera to it, and it'll trigger a greeting by the chatbot. That is one way we do offline to online chat, if you will. It's like a digital bridge, those QR codes. Does that?
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's helpful. I think, you were just witness to the way that Thomas and Perry and I discuss things, but because you're talking about the bridge from offline to online, and then we're also talking about the bridge from online to offline, right? Like from chatbot to day of like in-person assistance. So I think that I jumped the gun. I was over enthusiastic and I tried to complicate it more than it needs to be complicated. So Thomas, I apologize for that. But yeah, I think, so far what you, Danny, what you and Thomas have been working through is good. And I think I think it's important for it to be simple and functional instead of complicated and having bugs in it. So I think what we're going with now is good.
Sure thing. And that which you were envisioning, we can accomplish that in different ways. So you did cover a few. I'm just asking the bot here a few questions so that you get a feel of how the dynamics or the instructions of the bot or for the bot are. So here's just somebody who is probably curious about the conference, is asking some questions. Let's see. I know the bot doesn't know this one, so let's see what it says. Who are the speakers? This year. Oops, speakers. So pretty generic.
Yeah, but good. I mean, it has an answer, you know.
Right, yeah. It's not saying I have no idea, I have no clue, but kind of generic. Did you get your pass yet? So I asked a few questions. Did you get your event or your VIP pass? I put VIP pass for yesterday's exercise, but it's really your ticket, right? Let's just say no, I did not.
Yeah, I think I like the prompting questions because I did a couple of types in playing with it on my end, and so I like the prompting questions to either trying to gather data or encourage them to take action. So basically, you have call to actions in each response, and I really like that.
Yes. So I'm gonna give it a fake name because I used my name so many times already, and it nailed me. It's like, no, you already asked that question. Phone number 904. Let's just say that's my email address. Oops. And this is in Spanish, but I need to correct that. So it'll confirm is your name this and that in order to get your ticket. So I was gonna say Spanish. So it'll say yes, that's my information. What device do you have? Oh, this was for yesterday's exercise. So I want to make a parenthesis here, and I know that we didn't want to throw off the ticket or the ticketing engine, right? We didn't want to disturb that, which you've been working with so many years. As I mentioned, maybe the use of the digital pass, right? Instead of making it an general admission ticket or a digital ticket that is required to enter the the conference. And I sent an email I think last month about this. What are you guys thoughts regarding using that ticket element to maybe not for a general admission, but as maybe for students? Maybe they have some sort of privileges, or maybe for the presenters. Maybe presenters want to, also leverage some of these digital passes for their access to, certain place around the conference, or some sort of credentials that give people some sort of clearance to somewhere where the general public doesn't have clearance. What do you guys think regarding that?
Yeah, so are we talking about because we're not using the digital pass as essentially the check-in pass to the entire conference. You're searching for some other way to utilize that, right? So do we have any type of exclusivity with the happy hours, Thomas or Perry?
Well,
What do you mean, like exclusivity?
well, or
Yeah.
what, or is this, so I'm just gonna toss it out. I know speakers, how many free tickets are speakers going to get? Are we giving them 1 or 2 free tickets to give to friends or colleagues? We used to, if not, we should.
Well, I think we have a free one for each speaker, and then I think last year we had a like a promo code for 20% off.
So could the speaker, could the free pass, well, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there because I don't know what Danny and you guys have talked about here with the digital pass. Could they access their digital pass through Peanut and they're given a code and they go in and Peanut generates the digital pass for them. I don't know what that means on the back end because I don't want to lose their contact info, because I want to make sure we capture their name and address for future promotions. But I'm just trying to think that could be one use of the digital pass. Even trying to, yeah, I'm just throwing that out there as an option. Thomas, it's up to you how to use that, you and Mindy. So
yeah, I like if Danny, if you can integrate it that well that it works there, then yes.
So the speaker would have to have like a set code, right, Thomas? You'd have to give each speaker a unique code, and Peanut says, tell me what the unique code is, and it matches it up against a database, and it's only used once. And then I don't know what happens from there, Thomas, but sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
So if I understood correctly, you're exploring the use of the pass for presenters, for speakers, correct?
He's talking about more the free ticket for that the speaker can pass on. So we have a coupon code that they usually go to our website. I think Perry's asking, like, can they potentially use that code in the chat bot then to redeem their ticket?
But that will mess with the ticketing that we're doing on Drifta, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
Oh, okay, yes, you're right. That could
and I'd rather them drive them to the Drifter registration process and like, you know, and so if so I don't think necessarily we need to go quite that far, but maybe we can get the chatbot, if somebody has registered, we can fit it, you know, somehow get them their digital wallet pass, you know, through the chatbot too, but it's already going to be like emailed to them or whatever. So,
but what about for the free? Well, again, the thing with the free drink tickets. Remember last year, everybody.
You want that to be physical because, like, you know, you want to give it away and hand it off, not be replicable.
Well, but couldn't it be a digital drink ticket that they show on their phone so you can't pass it off to somebody else if you're not sticking around?
Like an event ticket? Yeah, I mean, potentially.
Hey, Danny,
I don't know.
I'm
just thinking, out loud, but I don't want to complicate things.
Let's put that on the back burner for now. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, and Danny, can I see, do you have, I think I saw a flash of a preview of the digital pass. Can we take a look at that to see what's on it and what the capabilities are?
Sure. So I have it right in front of me, but it's not sharing it because I'm sharing my browser window. So let me go ahead and stop this share.
So is this like when I bought tickets for Beth and I for the Fox Theater, and it shows up and I throw it into my wallet, and then that's when I show everybody and they scan it with the gun as we're going in. Okay. All right.
Which is why, you know, we were trying to figure out if we could insert it into the Drifta registration process. So they register on Drifta and then have a scanning capability for check-in. Then the info would feed back into Drifta, then that would be fine, right? But then I think what we're running into now is that we need a scanning device, and the system that we already have, where we have volunteers looking for the badge and the swag bags and all that, works right now. So I think that's the digital pass sounds cool, but I want to make sure that we're using it because it's useful and not just complicating things.
Well, I mean, Mindy, do most conferences, when you go to these, still give you the name badges to hang around your neck? Because all I'm going to say is if you're using a digital pass, like when you're going to the ball game or you're going to the Fox Theater, nobody is then giving you a badge to stick on you. That's what's getting you through the door. For us to get through the door, you come up to the registration table and we officially give you something to hang around your neck. And that's how we know you belong. I mean, we could get to the point where to get in the door, you either show us your paper registration that you printed out, or we scan, and then we no longer give out name badges, which I would love to not have to frickin' worry about name badges. because it's a pain in the
Yeah.
butt. At most
I mean, name
conferences,
badges.
yeah,
Yeah, I think name badges at conferences are gonna,
always be there.
for the foreseeable future, I think it's going to be a
Yeah,
thing because
yeah.
visibly, like you're saying, right? You're like, if there's a dude walking around with no badge,
Yeah,
like
right,
what's going
right,
on with that?
right.
So in the past, some of the huge conferences that I've gone to, and the reason why they have had to use this is the same reason why like Southwest uses it, right? So you go up to a machine and you scan your digital pass, and it may print out like a sticker or a badge, and then you can just slide it into your own badge holder or whatever it is. And then you still walk up to a table because somebody's going to hand you a swag bag. The machine's not going to spit one out. So in the past, the way I have personally experienced it is, you know, you scan your digital pass, and then it tells whoever behind the counter that you're coming. And then when you show up, they're like, you give them a ticket, and they're like, okay, you're attendee number 5036. And then they pull out your swag bag, they pull out your badge, and they hand it to you.
Yeah.
So, but we're not there.
We're
you know,
not
we don't have 5,000 people yet. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to try because the scanning and the auto check-in through Drifta, I do want to try it out this time, and I think this is an opportunity to do that, but they would be entering just as a normal attendee would. And so the other thing we're talking about is doing an automated push notification, right? Like once we see like, you know, it's even an hour before the keynote or something, or 15 minutes before the keynote, or we see that they just got to the university's campus, that, you know, sends a push notification. So it gives us those. And so those are the tools I was more curious to use maybe 3 or 4 times and see how it's received. But I do think, like May said, like we may always have badges, but being able to just scan and then boop, there's their name on the computer, you know, here's their thing. It could cut down a few seconds of check-in, and that's big when we're trying to check in 400 people in the span of 40 minutes, right? A few seconds off each person can really help a lot. So I do think there's a goal there to get through to that point. And so this will be our opportunity, I think, to kind of try it out.
yeah, and I think, you know, that will help us with the use of the app and also the gamification part of things, because I believe we use the scanner portion of the app with our exhibitors and sponsors, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if we're already using it for part of the conference, and then kind of tying that in with the check-in, and then tying that in with other gamification things, like, you know, if you go and you scan it at the Peanut chatbot, then that counts as something too. So, but Danny, thanks for pulling it up. I'll let you take over from here.
Sure thing, no problem. And if I may, here's a few things that may give you more ideas, right? So in the past, we've used the functionality to gamify the participation of an event or a pub crawl, right? In a way that is like a treasure hunt, right? So if they achieve X, they get something, right? And they need to, you know, find it or scan it or whatever, or take a picture, maybe user-generated content where, you know, we give some sort of shout out or something like that for someone who took an action, right? And that action is something that helps us leverage something that that we don't want to do, right? Like creating content or something like that. So the treasure hunt dynamics, I think that may be relevant here, although it's not as big of a conference as it used to be in at the Union Station, but that, and also in the back of the pass is, oh, let me see, I'm gonna click that. In the back of the pass, as you're seeing here, we can add any link in any of these fields. We can add any link. It could be a YouTube link, a review us link. It could be resources from the last speaker that they saw, or, you know, resources by the keynote speaker. You know, if you wanted to have a case study and you didn't want to, you know, inundate the people with all this data, but then they'll have access to that case study at a later time when they're, you know, just reviewing their notes or whatever, they'll have it right there behind that pass. Just a thought.
So this that we're looking at are push notifications. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. So
Okay.
this is the back of the pass when this is the front, right? And when you hit the three dots on the top, then pass details is the back of the pass. And the back of the pass is, it's as long as we want to make it, right? There we can add any links that would also tell us what kind of behavior was the or what kind of call to action was the one that people uh was most receptive to, or that sort of thing. I think the back of the pass is very functional. At the front is the branded, is the tamper-proof type of functionality where I can't just take a screenshot and then send it to my friend outside who's waiting outside for him to use it. That's not gonna work because it's tamper-proof as well. So the back of the pass could yield some functionality that maybe we're not thinking of about right now, but later on we are like, oh yeah, maybe we can add, a link for people to purchase tickets for the next year or something like that. I don't know.
For the chatbot, right? We can put a link for the chatbot on there. Right?
Yes, link to the chat. Correct. You got that. Link. And the push notifications as well. We can send them manually, right? On the fly, or we can also pre-schedule some push notifications for the date, time, whatever. And here's another one that's pretty cool. Geofence push notifications. So when people leave the conference or when people arrive, maybe we can put a pin at the St. Louis airport. So when people arrive, they're greeted, right? When they turn their phones on after the plane arrives, they turn their phones on and there's a notification by the MDMC. Welcome to St. Louis, because we know they arrived at the airport. Maybe at the hotel, maybe at the university. I don't know. We get up to 5 physical locations around the world where people who have that pass in their device will get a push notification that is geofenced um, with that purpose. So maybe we can also think of those instances where it may be helpful. It might um, um, be engaging, right?
Yeah.
And
So, sorry, Danny, I didn't mean to cut you off.
okay.
So this digital pass is a separate, essentially a separate product and system from the bot, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because as we're talking about it, that, um, I think Thomas Perry and I probably need to have a little bit more conversation on how we might want to use this functionality. Because I'm also thinking, if we're trying to push the download and use of our app, then this essentially becomes a competitor in terms of where push notifications will be coming from, where information will be coming from. And the geofencing thing is really cool. I like that. It's a little creepy and a little cool at the same time. So that's awesome. But I think what I would also, in terms of like directing your efforts and like your expertise and what you've been working on, I think can we put a pin in this, and then Thomas Perry and I will talk about it a little bit more to see if this is something that we want to do, because I think I'm really excited about it. But now, as you are explaining to me the functionality, a lot of it seems to be duplicating what the app can already do.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think, especially what you're saying with some events where like it's important to have tamper-proof access and entry. This is really cool. But since we're using a ticketing system that gathers quite a bit of data and information already in our system, and the physical check-in, I think that feature is maybe not as important to us right now.
Gotcha.
But I think down the road, Danny, if you could tell us, and maybe it's after the conference is over, what this could do that our app can't do to up the experience. Like, maybe we can't geofence. I don't know. Can we geofence, Mindy, with our
I
current?
don't know right now,
Okay.
but my
And,
guess is no.
yeah, because it could be a come on, download the digital experience ticket to up your game or to up your experience or whatever. And that is where, as they're approaching the conference, they get messaged because they hit a geofence or, and there could be maybe a couple of other things that it could do that we can't do. But yeah, I kind of agree. I think we just need to clearly understand kind of what it could do above and beyond kind of what we're already doing, and not confuse the attendees with too many things they're having to download on their phone, I think too. And I think, Danny, with you here at the conference and us getting to go back live, you'll maybe be able to give more advice, after your first experience of getting back here live, kind of, so to speak. And then hopefully next year we are going to be at Union Station and building back. That's our goal. So yeah. But I mean, I'm excited about all this. So yeah.
Sure thing. Fair enough. It's gonna be exciting to be there for the third time. Well, the second time in person, because one of those times was virtually.
Virtual.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. Yeah, I unfortunately have to get going here in a second. Is there anything else we wanted to cover real quick? Sounds like we'll have plenty of homework. And then Mindy, I'll set up a call with you because I have access to the back end as well. So we can take a little more deep dive into it too with you. So.
And I'll just start that Google sheet where I'll just throw out a bunch of stuff that I might ask Peanut as an attendee. Yeah. So.
And we'll get it folder. Sure.
Now, this is great, Danny. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for your work, Danny. It's really cool. I'm very excited
No
about
problem
it.
at all.
And are you gonna, when you come, are you gonna bring your dogs along so they can meet Peanut?
Well, it is
if you're
optional now, I
flying,
guess. Everywhere I go, they go, but I don't know if they will be able to go to St. Louis with me.
Are you friends with Danny on Facebook, Mindy?
No, I'm not.
You're not on Facebook that much though, Mindy, really.
Not much, no. I'm a lurker.
Yeah, Danny posts pictures of his I guess those are pit bulls, right?
Yes.
Your two boys. Are they boys or girls?
They're two boys. I have one
boys,
that's 15 years young. He just turned 15, and the other one is a puppy. The white one, he's actually deaf, and he's a handful.
Okay.
But yeah.
He posts pictures of those dogs every day. So we all see them.
He rescues me every day.
Yeah, there you go. All right, thanks, Danny. Okay.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Oye, Dani,
Oh, Pedro, ¿estás ahí?
sí, la invitación se te olvidó
¿Cuál invitación?
para la visa, para ver si me puede adelantar la fecha de la
Sí,
visa.
esa yo hablo con Perry personalmente y pues en privado.
Perfecto.
Sí, claro que sí.
Perfecto.
Antes de que tú entraste, hablé de ti, ¿no? Hablé de ti que estábamos trabajando en esto anoche, porque Tomás dice, ¿y por qué? Porque en el inbox hay mensajes en español. Entonces,
Creo que
pero
no
sí,
te
ahí,
llegaron mis mensajes porque en que creaste el pase se estaban mandando directos que por si querías entrar el link. No sé si te llegó ahí al Zoom. Te puse ahí.
sí,
Vi que
aquí lo
estabas,
tengo.
vi que estás
Para-
intentando buscar el pase, pero ya vi que conectaste tu teléfono y
sí. Em, sí, todo bien. A ver, estoy mirando aquí las notas del message. Sí, ahí voy a repasar el video ahorita que regrese de la calle, voy a sacar los perros y pues hay ciertos ajustes y retroalimentación que nos dieron. pero en general todo bien, todo bien. Estamos esperando a que saquen al nombre de los oradores, de las personas que van a presentar y los títulos de sus presentaciones. Entonces ahí tenemos tengo un folder de Google por el cual ellos lo van a compartir. Ahí lo voy a poner en el Trello también.
Ok,
¿Y qué? Y ya,
perfecto.
todo bien, todo bien. Em, Esto lo de ayer, ¿qué pasó aquí?
Bueno,
Es-
voy a desayunar porque
Ah,
tengo un
bueno,
montón
bueno,
de
sí,
planes de
pero bueno, hablamos
desayunar.
ahorita más tarde.
Dale, más
Ok, chao.
tarde, bye.